and if you make it out of the school alive. Sakura Ogami, the queen of my heart, and I, Asahina.
So Sakura is the super high school level fighter. She practices MMA, and it's a she. Okay, so this is a she. She is the tallest, strongest, most frightening looking character in the entire series, but she has a lovely personality. Looks to deceive, and Sakura is actually one of the kindest characters in the series.
Oh, Asahina, the super high school level swimmer. She is in love with donuts. In love with donuts, and she is very kind, very sweet, and not very bright. Not very bright.
Alright, we got Hagakure on the left. He's a super high school level fortune teller. He's probably not actually psychic. He's more of a scam artist than anything else. He's definitely a comic relief character.
And he can only predict things with approximately 30% accuracy, which we think is an overestimation of his ability. Leon! Super high school level baseball player, but he actually wants to be a rock star. He also has bad hair, looks red. Celeste!
Sorry, I forgot it was locked.
Alright, so on the left we have Celestia. She's a super high school level gambler. She dresses in that gothic Lolita style that you see there. She looks sweet, but she's actually kind of like, she doesn't let anyone push her around.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Togami! Oh, yeah, Togami!
Only character who's as you see.
Literally the only character in the series who is exactly as he seems.
He's a rich douchebag who will leave this. The super high school level programmer. She's brilliantly skilled at coding, and she's shy on the side of the keyboard, but she's basically regarded as a complete genius by everyone else.
Then there's
Who's the guy?
No spoiler. Ishimaru, the super high school level hall monitor. You don't need to know anything else about him. Yamada.
Super high school level doujin artist. He's a stereotype of otaku. He's obsessed with the 2D form. He wishes life was an anime, but he's actually a really skilled artist. So.
Then there's Mondo, and he is the super high school level biker, gang biker.
Biker, gang leader,
yes. He's got
and one of the first things he does in the game is punch you in the face. So
and knock you out, and you wake up later in your hotel room. So he's actually a very interesting character to get to know. And then there's Kirigiri and Mono Bear.
So Kirigiri is a super high school level.
We don't know.
He doesn't tell us. She does not remember, and she's as mysterious as her title, and she doesn't really have much to say.
One of the major plot points in the game is actually her trying to discover her talent. And then there's Monokuma. Mono Bear, Monokuma, whatever. Super Dangan Ronpa 2, we don't have very much time to go over. The cast, as we said earlier, is just as large, just as colorful, different talents. Now, so the Academy pulls any talented student from wherever they come from and trains them in the hopes that they will be the hope of the future, hence hopes
You
of
can
the
see us
Academy.
in that photo.
You can. So I'm the super high school level photographer. I'm a swordswoman.
But there's all kinds of really wacky talents in the second game as well.
Yeah. There's a question.
Yeah, I just checked, and the first game is actually officially released by
East America.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's all the fuss about? We've met some of the characters, we've explained the plot a little bit. So what is all the fuss about, really? One big thing is how unique the plot is. Dangan Ronpa combined the critical thinking skills of detective games with the intensity of survival games in a premise decorated with a crazy style. The first game also featured plenty of very famous voice actors. The second one does as well. The second thing Dangan Ronpa does really, really well is playing with tropes. The series has a tendency to introduce major cliches in its characters. A lot of them seem very flat and one note when you meet them, only to have a complete turnaround later. Without spoiling anything, we can easily say that this series contains some of the most shocking twists we have ever seen. There's also a lot of very complex themes that are discussed and explored throughout the Dangan Ronpa game. So, for instance,
the most obvious one I would say is despair versus hope. So that's something that we see in a lot of media, like video games, anime movies, you know, like good guys versus bad guys, despair and hope. This comes up so often during this series, like every other word is probably despair. There's a character in the second game who is literally all about hope, and it gets a little annoying at times.
As we discussed, another major theme is appearances. A lot of the characters are not what they seem. They present themselves in a very specific way, only to have a very interesting twist on their character later on. Another theme discussed is strength. Where does strength come from? What does it really mean? What is true strength? What is emotional strength? Physical strength, all those things. Friendship is another major one. Again, the classic
black versus white.
Good versus
so you
evil.
have to watch out for colors in this game. The designers put a lot of thought into things. Like Kirigiri, as we saw there, the girl with the long, like pale hair. The designer purposefully made her with an all-purple palette for symbolic reasons that you're going to find out later. And black and white will come up a lot in the game, and whenever you see that, you know like something's up. You need to question what's happening.
Justification for actions. Some of the characters will make decisions for very, very complex reasons. But you have to remember that the situation that they're in does not have room for complexity. You murder somebody, it doesn't matter what your reasons were. Either you get away with it and you live, or you don't and you die. It doesn't matter what your justification for that murder was. There's a black and white solution at the end. And so it's...
You do have to note that some of the murders happen for reasons that are not fair, and some of them happen for reasons where you're like, they should have gotten away with that. So
yeah.
It's really like complicated throughout the series.
And it's very emotional as well. That's another thing that makes Dangan Ronpa worth checking out if you haven't already. It's a very emotional, like you get very emotionally invested in the characters and what happens to them, especially as the series progresses and you get to know some of them a lot better. Memory is a major theme. As you mentioned, Kirigiri goes, for all of the students, it's like it's their first day of school. Kirigiri doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know what her talents are. She doesn't know why she was admitted to the school at all. And all of the students are trying to find out what happened. Like, how did I was walking across the threshold of the school and I wake up in a locked classroom being told that the only way I'm going to get out of here for the rest of my life is to kill someone. So memory and lost memories, finding memories, rediscover false memory is another big theme. Order versus chaos. Monokuma is not interested in keeping order. He deliberately shakes things up. Whenever the students pull themselves together long enough to maintain order amongst themselves, he comes in and says, "You guys are boring. Here's a motive for you. Go kill someone." And he deliberately...
And it works.
And it works. Unfortunately, he deliberately messes with their minds to try to cause chaos. And it's very interesting to watch how that sort of plays out throughout the series. And luck, of course.
Okay, so luck is sort of a strange factor. It sort of ties into hope. Luck and hope kind of play together in the series. Especially with the main character, the first game, you find out, is luck really a talent? Is luck something that is going to help you survive? Is luck something that will help you find out how to save your friends and save yourself? So it's a constant theme throughout the series.
Okay, so before we move on really quickly, other Dangan Ronpa things happening at Animethon this year. We are hosting, along with our friend Lauren Cook, a meetup and photo shoot for any Dangan Ronpa cosplayers tomorrow who happen to be around. So we're meeting in front of the, outside on the stone steps just outside the cafeteria. If the weather is not so great, we're meeting near the spiral staircase over by the info booth over there. And judging from the weather today, I mean, hopefully we'll have sun tomorrow. Hope we have sun tomorrow. If we don't, we'll be meeting inside, and we'll probably go take over an empty classroom if we can and do some photos in there. School life. There's also going to be a Dangan Ronpa Ask panel tomorrow where you get to meet some of the characters and ask them questions directly. Will there be spoilers?
Well, it'll be spoilers for the entire first game, but not for the second.
So there's spoilers for the first game. We have no part in this,
No.
but we're
But
going to
that's,
know anything
this is,
we
the host is here in the, yeah, so the host is here in the panel. Thank you for coming. So it's going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. in room 8218, which is over near the gym. Okay. So before we get into discussion, like any questions that are coming up, we're going to show you an AMV that's made up from the first episode of the anime, so no spoilers past the first episode, and I really enjoyed it.